weeks, months, years. Why do some auto accident claims wrap up quickly while others take a lot longer to resolve? There are 5 key timeline drivers or issues that can affect how long an auto accident claim can take from the beginning to the resolution. The first factor is liability. In other words, can you prove that the other person that was involved in the accident caused the accident? So for example, if you were rear-ended or hit from behind and it was straightforward, most likely the insurance companies involved are going to find that the person that rear-ended your car is at fault for the accident. However, if you're at an intersection where you are alleging that the other driver ran a red light, that can complicate things because sometimes there's no witness to show or testify that the other driver ran a red light. There's no video camera. Sometimes in that situation, that could be a disputed liability case, which means it would take longer to resolve, if at all. Another factor is the nature and extent of your medical injuries and treatment. Obviously, the more injured you are, the more medical treatment, evaluations, tests, and procedures you may need, which will then take longer to resolve your injury claim because all of the relevant medical records and billing has to be gathered before a demand for compensation or settlement can be sent to the insurance company. Another factor to consider is the applicable insurance policy limits. In California, any liability insurance policy that is effective as of January 1st, 2025 is now increased, where the minimum coverage is now $30,000 minimum for injuries to any one person, and $60,000 is minimum coverage now for injuries to more than one person in any one accident. Also, if you have uninsured and underinsured motorist bodily injury insurance coverage with your own insurance company, that can also affect the timeline. Because, for example, if your underinsured bodily injury limits are higher with your own insurance company than the at-fault driver's liability insurance limits, then it could be a 2-step process where if the at-fault insurance pays their maximum, you could then ask for additional compensation from your own insurance company. In the event that your claim cannot settle without a lawsuit for your injuries, and a lawsuit has to be filed because there's no other choice, let's say the at-fault insurance is not offering enough compensation for your injuries to settle, a lawsuit would then have to be filed in the county where the accident happened, and that obviously will lengthen the process from the beginning of the accident to the end where it's resolved. Why? Because when there's a lawsuit, then the attorneys get involved for the insurance company for the at-fault driver, and then there's something called discovery, where written questions are asked, documents are asked and produced, depositions are taken, and ultimately there's a trial date, although most cases settle before trial. Another factor is the type of insurance company that you are dealing with, or that your attorney is dealing with, what their negotiation posture is, how easy are they to work with, how they evaluate claims. Some are more reasonable than others. Some will make a fair offer and others will try to drag things out. The typical progression of a auto injury claim is first, you get the medical treatment that you need, then the medical records and bills are gathered after the documentation is all submitted, and then all the medical records and bills are put together in the form of a demand package. So a letter is sent with all your medical records and bills to the at-fault insurance company if the at-fault driver has insurance. Then the at-fault insurance company will have time to evaluate the demand for settlement, typically 30 days, sometimes a little more. And at that point, then the adjuster for the insurance company will typically make an offer, in which case there are some negotiations that can go forth between the adjuster and the personal injury attorney. Sometimes, however, the insurance company makes what's known as a policy limits offer, where they're offering the maximum amount that they have under the insurance policy. In the event that a settlement cannot be reached between your lawyer and the insurance company, the next step would be a lawsuit would have to be filed. And as indicated previously, that could delay resolution because that does take longer. However, if the insurance company is not offering fair value and it's not even close to fair value, in our experience, we recommend a lawsuit be filed to best protect our clients' rights. Other issues that can lengthen a car accident claim or case is, as I indicated, when there's an underinsured claim that has to be made after the at-fault insurance pays their limits and there's additional compensation to be requested from the injured person's own insurance company. Or if there are multiple vehicles involved or multiple claimants, that can lengthen things because there's sometimes an issue where we are waiting for other injured people that we do not represent to present their injury claims to the insurance company, where one policy has to pay out for all injured people. Other issues can involve medical liens that are statutory in nature, meaning under the law. For example, ERISA liens, where your health insurance is through your employer and is governed by federal law, where we have to wait for that documentation to come in. Or a Medicare lien, where if someone has Medicare and they pay for treatment in an accident, we need to make sure we have the accurate lien for Medicare or Medi-Cal, if that applies. So those things sometimes can lengthen the process if needed. There are some average ranges by category of medical treatment as far as how long an injury claim can take. So for example, if you only get chiropractic treatment or some kind of therapy and no other treatment, like no MRIs, no appointments with medical doctors, that can be shorter. That could be 3 to 6 months, just depending on how long you get the therapy for, and then how long it takes to get the records from that chiropractor or doctor, and then submission to the insurance company for evaluation for an offer. Now, if there's more extensive medical treatment, for example, if someone gets MRI or 2 and has to see an orthopedist or a pain management doctor, if more invasive treatment is done, such as, a pain management doctor, for example, may recommend or do an injection, or if a doctor needs to do a surgery, and obviously that will take longer. That could be maybe a year or even more, because more time is needed to finish the medical treatment and also gather the medical records and bills in question. And then the longest type of resolution would be where there's the medical treatment that's done, but then the claim cannot be settled with the insurance company without having to file a lawsuit. So then once that lawsuit is filed, that can take over a year, sometimes 2 years, even more, from the time the accident happened until resolution, because once you're in the lawsuit stage, things have to go through their own process, like discovery. At the law offices of Steers & Associates, we have a firm philosophy where we want to have our clients get the best medical treatment possible and not worry about dealing with the insurance adjusters. Let us focus on getting you the best compensation possible while helping you heal from your injuries. So if you'd like more information about the law offices of Steers & Associates and how we can help you, check us out on our socials and on our website.